All right, let's get into it. High stakes hearing as DOJ faces off Trump's attorneys. Let's go.
Set to get underway in just hours over the search of Mar-a-Lago. Federal prosecutors and attorneys for former President Trump will face off in a Florida federal court after the Justice Department released this photo of highly classified documents in Mar-a-Lago and raised new questions about obstruction of justice. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas starts us off from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. In just a few hours, DOJ and Trump attorneys face off in court in this case for the first time. It will be a debate over whether a special master should be appointed to review the classified material. But the stakes for everyone involved are enormous. DOJ expected to press its case that the special master is not needed and that President Trump and his team have not acted in good faith, suggesting that some of them might have even obstructed justice. This after Team Trump doubled down on calls for a special master in a new filing overnight, saying Trump can claim privilege over some of the documents. At the center of the case, 322 classified documents that were discovered at Mar-a-Lago. 184 were handed over to the National Archives in January. Then in June, Trump turned in another 38. At that time, in a sworn statement, his attorney insisted there were no more classified materials on site after a diligent search. Trump has repeatedly insisted he's cooperated fully, but the FBI claims it soon uncovered evidence from multiple sources indicating classified documents remained at the premises. What they found on August 8th, over 100 classified records, including information classified at the highest levels. DOJ even releasing this picture of some of them. As you can see, they're clearly marked secret, top secret, and SCI.
This got them fucking... This, which was also ironically requested by the Trump team, like the revelation of these documents, was heavily backed and heavily requested by the Trump team because they thought this would give them an adequate counter. Literally turned into another talking point for them, because everything is going to turn into a talking point for them, where they were like, I can't believe you're showing these documents. I mean, if they were top secret, why would you show them? As we talked about on Leftovers, I wonder if I can find that actual fucking convo with like Trump's lawyer. Does anyone have that link? With Trump's lawyer talking? On Sean Hannity. Goalpost moving at Mach speed. I think like they vaporized the goalpost. There's no more fucking goalpost, dude. It's just done. Jamie pulled that up. Yeah, chat is Jamie. Oh, here it is. Love this.
What's happened is now they put, nowhere. What's happened is now they've put this picture out so that you would assume, and I'm somebody who has been, and the press loves to talk about this, especially today. I'm somebody that has been in his office. I've seen it. This is not the way his office looks. They give you this appearance that you walk in and there's these top secret documents just strewn about. A, B, they don't understand. Something could be marked top secret, could be marked classified. The Presidential Records Act, he would have said this is declassified. It doesn't get a new marking all the time. He's left the office. It is a complete public spectacle, and I'm not really going to stand by it anymore. You know, I personally have gotten intimidated. People have tried to intimidate me. It's not going to work. You can't just put a picture like this and say, look.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest ways of trying to undermine the credibility of this investigation. When you have nothing else remaining, because as we talked about time and time again, remember, at first it was, what if, you know, at first they were like, why didn't you ask nicely? And then it came out that they had asked nicely, and they were like, release what you took from us, you know, show the search warrant. And they did show the search warrant. And then they were like, all right, well, you know, show us the affidavit. And this is a consequence of them asking for the affidavit. They're literally in the affidavit. We found out why they originally had enough evidence that Trump, when asked nicely, thank you, COINTELPRO, for the 10 of the subs, when asked nicely, had cooperated with the authorities but only fucking gave some of the documents back, including like HCS classification, which is like, people that are on the ground doing espionage directly for the CIA. So like super, super high level shit. And now they wanted exactly now they wanted details of what they have procured the second time when they went in, because they found out that Trump had actually hid some of the top secret level classified documents in a different place. So now they're like, well, this is not how we left those documents out. Yeah, it's like, dude, of course that's not how you left the documents out, you fucking idiot. Yeah, they presented it to show the worst documents that they have. Do you think this will be it for Trump? My family's all saying so, but I think he'll just worm his way out of it again. No, he will. Yes, I do think he will worm his way out of it again. He always does.
Did the FBI do that, or was
yeah.
that the way that room looked before they went in there? Do you have any firsthand knowledge?
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the press today. I do have firsthand knowledge, as you know. I have been down there. I'm down there frequently. I have never seen that. I have never, ever seen that. That is not the way his office looks. Anybody that knows President Trump's office, he has guests frequently there. It's just a joke. They literally must have gone in and taken out documents they wanted, or cover letters as it is, and put it about so that the public believes that this is top secret documents that were on his floor. It's ridiculous. I can tell you personally, It's ridiculous. I've never seen that.
Pam, so what we're really looking at here.
I love that. They have now resorted to like arguing against. I don't even know if this could be considered a straw man. You know what I mean? Because like a straw man is supposed to be what? Like an argument that your interlocutor is not making, right? You're making up an easier argument that is easier to defeat. I feel for you. You're mad all the time. It's sad. I feel bad for you. Wait, no, I'm not mad at all. What the fuck do you mean? This is a cause for celebration. This is a pretty hilarious situation that the Trump administration or the Trump cabinet and Trump allies have found themselves in. This is content as fuck. Why would I be mad about this shit? You're kind of ridiculous. This is like the Biden camp is actually doing things for the first time ever. And I don't mean like doing the worst shit like, oh, we got Mexico to pay for a smart wall or whatever. They're like actually doing things like student loan debt relief, which is good. You know what I mean? This is left-wing propaganda to make Trump look like a messy boy. They have nothing left. That's why they're saying like, well, this is not how messy it is, actually. It's kind of crazy. This is not how messy it is in real life. Mar-a-Lago is not this messy. Fucked up that they did that.
Sensitive, compartmented information, only for the eyes of those with the highest security clearance. Despite Team Trump's insistence that all...
Are you joking? The files are fake? Dude, I love that. Yeah, you're right, brother. And they actually put those documents there themselves.
All documents were stored in a storage room. 3 classified documents were found in desks of Trump's own office. These revelations, part of a blistering 36-page motion the Justice Department filed Tuesday, concluding efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation. When he ran against Hillary Clinton, Trump insisted he would handle the nation's secrets with the utmost care.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information.
Yep.
No one will be above the law.
Now he faces the potential of criminal charges. Federal Judge Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, has signaled that she's inclined to grant his request for a special master. Today, we'll see if DOJ's aggressive pushback is persuasive. George?
We will see. Pierre, thanks very much for being our Chief Washington correspondent, John Carlin. John, we know a lot more about this case than we knew a week ago. That's because Trump filed this request for a special master.
At every turn, the information that has come out has been in response to what Trump has said and what his legal team has done. George, it's really extraordinary. If you go back to even to the night of the search of Mar-a-Lago, it was Donald Trump himself who came out and told the world about it. It was because of Trump that the search warrant was released, that the affidavit was then released, and then this damning portrayal of potential obstruction of justice in the DOJ filing that came out on Tuesday was in direct response to yet another court filing by Donald Trump.
Some new polls out show that people are paying attention.
This is definitely a story that has broken through. A new Quinnipiac poll shows this is quite astounding. You must never see this on a major story. 76% say they are paying attention to what is going on. And then look at this, George.
Oh, my God.
59% say that they believe that Donald Trump acted inappropriately. Only 20.
Oh my God. I mean, 26% always. Always. You know that's always going to be the case. That's kind of wild that only 4%. He took a 4% base hit off that. That's fucking nuts, dude. The Hasanabi rule that like 30% of Americans will always agree to anything still is kind of alive and well here. Not as powerful as I once claimed it was. There's a little bit of steam that came off of it. It's 26% now. I did say, there's a margin of error in that.
26% say that he acted appropriately. So 59% already on the facts that are out there say Donald Trump acted inappropriately. And 50% of the country in this poll, 50% believe he should be prosecuted.
And John, in the immediate aftermath of the FBI search, you saw a lot of Republicans defending President Trump, attacking the FBI. Not so much now.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. They aren't coming out and criticizing Trump over this for the most part, but the reflexive defense of Trump, the attack on the FBI, these have waned. And here's the leading indicator, George. The Republican National Committee has made it clear they are not paying Donald Trump's legal bills for this. As you remember, they are still paying his bills for the New York Attorney General case. In this case, Donald Trump is on his own. The Republican Party will not be paying his legal bills.
And his lawyers may be facing some trouble as well. John Carl, thanks very much.
Why do they have to keep it to invent explanations? Why can't they just take the L? It's so clearly it's an L situation. Dude, what do you mean? Why would they do that? If Trump gets frog marched, can we get a day of crab rave? Sure. Love smug liberals going, oh ho, Mr. Trump, we call that a legal checkmate, my friend. Oh ho. Yeah, I mean, the real checkmate is going to be fucking Donald Trump not getting owned by the FBI, because the FBI is not in the business of like attacking people like Donald Trump. That's not what they do. I think people fundamentally misunderstand what the FBI does. The FBI, the CIA, these guys are capitalist institutions. They're not going to hit someone off. They're not going to hit someone who's like in a position of power. Their entire purpose is to not disrupt the delicate balance. That's precisely the reason why they originally asked nicely for a return on these documents. That's why they wanted to do this quietly for as long as they could, until Donald Trump was like making it impossible to do it quietly. Yo, stop advocating for execution, chat. It's the least hilarious outcome of all this. Come on, we can do funnier. Yeah, the U.S. spies getting clapped during the Trump administration, for the record, that part is like the liberalization of this. That is the Blue Anon Association. Like, I don't think Donald Trump was like selling fucking delicate spy details while he was in. Like, he's not smart enough to put together a operation like that. Guys, We're talking about an entire fucking crew of people who are so dumb that, like, their counter to all of this has just been, nah, it's okay. It's okay that Trump did it, actually. Trump didn't do it, but if he did do it, then it's okay that he did it. But also, it's not okay when others do it. But Trump doing it, he actually did it the best way that anyone could have possibly done it. So, like, his entire crew he's surrounded by fucking idiots every step of the goddamn way. His crew is full of fucking idiots. He himself is a fucking idiot. That doesn't preclude the possibility of foreign spies having greater access nonetheless. But yeah, Blue and On is hurt. Yeah, I mean, what? They're just saying what Hunter Biden did? Wait, what? Anyway, let's see what Alan Dersh, the Dersh, has to say. How the mighty have fallen. What was this? Greta Van Susteren, who was like a Fox News lady, literally had to go to fucking Newsmax. And, of course, they always have to have Dersh on. You can't have any sort of coverage without having the world's foremost pedophile defender, Alan Dershowitz, on. You know what I mean? You can't do it. It's illegal. It is literally illegal to cover any legal matter without asking the absolute worst lawyer of all time, Alan Dershowitz.
Now we turn to that photograph. I don't know about you, but when you buy an apartment in New York, you see how everything is staged. It's phony when you go online. This photograph, unless these were stored like this is a staged photo, and it's attached by the Department of Justice.
And it proves one thing.
I find what?
No, you're absolutely right, and it proves one thing. That they are cherry picking what they release. This is classified material, and they're putting it out and giving it to our enemies because they want to, because they can. On the other hand, they redact other material. This cherry picking by the Justice Department.
I'll tell you what I find surprising. I mean, assuming it's staged, and it sure looks staged to me. They knew that by attaching that every single news organization, and we just showed it. We're just talking about it. It's the oldest trick in the book as a lawyer. It's the oldest trick.
Bro, you asked for it. What do you mean? Everyone in the fucking right-wing media asked for this. And then they got what they asked for, and they're like, not like that, though. Yeah, of course they staged the fucking evidence. Like, that's how you do it.
Then you juxtapose that against Merrick Garland, who says it's going to be even-handed. When they do something like a staged photo that they know is going to be plastered all over the media, is that even-handed?
No, it's not. And they know that the New York Times and CNN are going to show the picture without comment. Thank God for you, Greta. You at least have the willingness to say it may have been staged. Maybe the Justice Department lawyers put it out there to be photographed. You have to look at everything the government and the Justice Department does critically. President Reagan was right. Trust but verify. And this doesn't pass the verification test.
They could have even filed that.
Like, it's just like basic cop shit. Anyway, we are now at a different precipice where Alaska, I believe since like 1973 or some shit, has produced. It's gone commie, folks. Alaska has gone communist, folks. They've gone the way of Russia. They've gone the way of communist Russia. They've gone the way of communist Russia. Sarah Palin once used to say she can see the Soviet tide from where she's standing. And now that Soviet tide has come over and taken over, folks. Alaska said no to Sarah Palin's Magumbos because they've been captivated by Nancy Pelosi's. Believe me, here we go.
New tonight, Sarah Palin has failed at her most recent attempt at a political comeback. She lost the special election for a vacant House seat in Alaska. That seat is now flipping to a Democrat for the first time since 1972. Here to discuss, former U.S. Representative Abby Finkenauer and CNN political commentators Errol Lewis and S.E. Cupp. S.E., let me start with you. Sarah Palin.
Yeah,
Huge name recognition. Yeah, we have heard of her. And but that was the play. She had the name recognition, didn't win.
Well, I think Errol and I were just talking about this, a fellow Daily News alum. I've had a Daily News column for 12 years, in part because the first column I wrote was about Sarah Palin, is what people thought her name was.
We were trying to figure out the
No
pronunciation.
one knew who she
never heard
was.
of her.
Right. And I liked her story. I thought it was really impressive. And I thought,
This is such a funny.
McCain,
This is such a funny thing that happened too.
But we all know what happened.
Sarah Palin is so fucking stupid too. Like, unironically, she is genuinely like very dumb, right? So there's a lot of content there to be had, and some people will say that she's the original Donald Trump, like the Trump wave, the Trump right-wing populism started with Sarah Palin and all this stuff, and I mean, who knows? But there's a lot of cool stuff there. Hold on, I gotta pee. I'll be back.
After she resigned to the governor, she went on to be Fox famous, and she wanted to sort of follow fame. And I get that she looked at this landscape with the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Matt Gaetzes and the Lauren Boeberts and thought, great, finally a chance to be famous and not have to govern all that much. But I think Alaskans were really turned off and felt abandoned by her when she left the state and kind of, in search of more famous pastures. So I think that was the result.
Is this about Sarah Palin specifically? There's no kind of lesson that Republicans can glean from this loss?
Well, I mean, if they wanted to take a lesson from it, it might well be that the local needs, in this case, Alaska gets only one representative. They've got to get it right. And they've got a salmon shortage. They've got real problems there. They've got climate change issues just like everywhere else. It seems like voters don't necessarily want to throw it away on somebody who's going to get up and sort of do the celebrity thing. Leadership and celebrity are two different things. And Sarah Palin dropped one and went in the other direction. I don't know if they're looking for a celebrity there. That's a lesson that Republicans ought to take to heart.
I mean, let's also not sell the Democratic now winner short here. I mean, Mary Peltola, first Native Alaskan ever to be elected. I think that says something. Also, a Democrat hasn't won in 50 years in that seat. I mean, that says something. And I think it's going to be, again, just another indicator that Democrats have a heck of a lot more hope going into 2022 than we did a few months ago.
Let's turn now to Dr. Oz and some.
Is this Crystal Ball? Am I going crazy? Why does she look? Is that Crystal Ball?
If not conflicting, inconsistent comments on abortion. So we're going to play first what he said in May of this year. This was during the primary. And then we're going to play something from an interview he did in 2019 where he talks about heartbeat bills that were being passed. Let's watch.
Am I being anti-white racist? I'm sorry.
I do believe life starts.
So do all white people look alike to you? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my racism. Now Republicans are coming out against ranked choice voting, which is pretty cool. It's awesome. I mean, it's like anything and everything that the what do you call it? That allows anything and everything that allows a Democrat to win is actually illegal. Like mail-in ballots, illegal. Like anything that gives a competitive edge to the Democratic Party, even if it's on accident, because mail-in ballots were great for Florida. You know? Yeah, here, Will Menaker had a good take on this. Ranked choice voting, a scam to rig elections. The popular vote, scam to rig elections. Registering voters, you better believe that's a scam to rig elections. Counting votes in an election, buddy, don't even get me started. Tom Cotton straight up is like, ranked choice voting is a scam to rig elections. 60% of Alaska voters voted for a Republican, but thanks to a convoluted process and ballot exhaustion, which disenfranchises voters, a Democrat won. just say it, motherfucker. You just want voting to be illegal for Democrats. Counting votes, that's fraud, brother. In this system, if you fail to rank all candidates, and many voters would, as they've been voting for one candidate for decades, your ballot will effectively be thrown out during the elimination process. He's just trying to fucking explain away an opportunity. How did they lose with 60%? It's called a split vote. Because even if it wasn't fucking ranked choice, that would mean that there's 2 Republicans on the ballot and would still end up with a loss, with an electoral loss for one of those Republicans. Both of those Republicans. What is this? Porn-addicted physiognomy versus Chad? 4-year difference? Dude, I love this. I love this kind of shit. Anytime someone says physiognomy or whatever, physiognomy, I don't know how you fucking say that. Anytime I read that, I love that shit. It blows my mind. You're about to read some of the most unhinged, idiotic takes you've ever read in your entire life. So Republicans are now coming out against ranked choice voting, which, if I'm not mistaken, didn't impact them at all up until this fucking election. And I think they were in favor of it originally. Former Governor Sarah Palin, a Republican, and former State Representative Mary Peltola, a Democrat, were the top 2 vote getters in August 16 primary to replace former Representative Don Young, who died in March. Physiognomy? Okay, got it. But because neither top 50% of the first place votes, it will be the ballots of those who backed the third candidate in the race, Republican businessman Nick Begich III, that determined the outcome. The path from open primary to ranked choice results. Alaskan voters in 2020 approved an overhaul of the state's election system. Sorry, this is a new thing. Moving to a ranked choice voting system. They voted for it. Oh, I mean, here, we can do a ranked choice voting explainer too, if you want.
Queen Lion of the Animal Kingdom is displeased. She recently introduced elections for the office of king using the first-past-the-post voting system. While her realm started out as a healthy democracy with many parties running candidates for king, it quickly devolved into 2-party rule, with the citizens not liking either one, but trapped within the system because of a problem called the spoiler.
There are plenty of countries that do ranked choice, first past the post voting, ranked choice voting. It is a system in which, like, you literally rank who you fucking want, and if neither of your candidates, depending on, well, the one in Alaska, if neither of your candidates hit 50%, then they factor in your secondary ballots, like your second choice. And that's it. Elections in Alaska now start with an open primary, which candidates of all parties compete for, and all voters are allowed to participate, casting their ballots for the one contender they prefer. The top 4 vote getters, regardless of party, advance to the general election. Then in the general election, just voting for one of the top 4 candidates, voters rank their preferences in order. They are allowed to rank candidates 1 through 4, but are not required to do so. Voters could instead choose only to rank their preferred candidate or only rank their top 2. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the first place votes, then the ranked choice system is used to determine the winner. The method and the math. First, the Alaska Division of Elections eliminates the candidate with the least amount of first place votes. The votes that had gone to that candidate are then assigned to the second choice listed on those voters' ballots. If no candidate is top 50% of the vote at that point, then the Division of Elections would go through a second round of tabulation. Then they go to the 4th place candidate, would have been already eliminated. And then the second round, the 3rd place finisher is also eliminated. And when that person is eliminated, they look at their second votes, their second choice voters. Okay? Sounds like Europe. Gross. Exactly. Gay and communist. Those who rank 3rd or 4th place candidates would first would have their votes assigned to the highest ranking remaining candidate on their ballots. It's like not that complicated of a system. For example, a voter who ranked the 3rd place finisher first, the 4th place candidate second, and the 1st place candidate third And the second place candidate, fourth, would in this round have voted, have their vote assigned to the first place candidate. Okay? The tabulation is a computer process that will be completed almost immediately. Simplifying matters in the House special elections is the fact that there were only 3 candidates on the ballot. A fourth, independent Al Gross, had finished in the top 4 in the June special primary but dropped out afterwards and did so quickly enough that the state election officials removed him from the ballot. Instead, a small number of write-in votes could have second-place contenders. Amazing visual of what happened in Alaska. Yeah, there it is. Like, those guys still ended up giving a fuckload of votes over to Palin, and she still lost. Do you understand? So Begich voters were cutting it close between Palin and Begich anyway. And if this was a 3-party, if this was literally just a regular, not first past the post type open election, if this was an open, like a jungle election, right? Then they would have lost anyway by a gigantic margin, as a matter of fact, by an even larger margin. Do you understand? So what Tom Cotton is saying is really fucking stupid, because Peltola, already got 75,000 votes. So Republicans should be more mad that they split the votes between 2 Republican candidates. Instead of first past the post, sorry, is winner takes all. I might have said it incorrectly. Yes, this is ranked choice voting, not first past the post. I might have said it wrong. I'm sorry. So if this was first past the post, then Peltola would have fucking won anyway. Okay? She would have won regardless, because the problem here in this circumstance isn't that there is a ranked choice voting. The problem here is that there were 2 Republican candidates that split the fucking vote. So Republicans are mad that Republicans took a fucking L by splitting the fucking vote. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Well, maybe if it wasn't ranked, some Begich voters wouldn't have had their votes go to Peltola or Palin, since you have to reconsider voting strategy. Sure. But you also have to understand, they didn't even split the vote. You could have voted one for Republican as number 2 and then for the other 2. But they did that already. They did do that. But a tinier percentage, a much tinier percentage of Begich voters went and supported Peltola. The main problem here is that it doesn't seem like enough Alaskans wanted Palin to be their candidate. Something like 21% also didn't put a second choice in their ranked vote. People have done math in every possible way, and there's no election method that has Palin winning. She just got less votes. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't fucking try to math equation your way out of this while there's a second candidate out there that got almost as many votes as Palin did. She would have lost in every fucking feasible way. Do you understand? Like, the only way they could have done this, I guess, the only way they could have done this is if the exhausted votes went to Palin. You know what I mean? That's it.
So what is ranked choice voting?
Here.
In most parts of the United States, voters select a single candidate for each position on their ballot, and the candidate with the most votes wins. This is known as single-choice winner-take-all, which can sometimes result in the election of a candidate who earned only a small percentage of the vote, even when the majority of voters supported other candidates. But that's not the only way of electing our leaders. Ranked choice voting is another voting method which allows voters to rank their candidates in order of preference. In a ranked choice voting election, a candidate needs to earn more than half of the votes to win. All first choices are counted, and if a candidate has a majority, then they win, just like any other election. If not, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who picked that candidate as number one will have their votes count for their next choice. This process continues until a candidate earns a majority and is declared the winner. Let's look at an example. Here, you select orange as your first choice candidate, yellow as your second, pink as your third, and green as your final choice. The first choices are counted. Yellow earned 35%.
Why is this presented like a kindergarten lesson? Because that's what Republicans need. A kindergarten lesson on ranked choice voting so they can comprehend it. Most Americans, actually, not even Republicans, like most of you motherfuckers need that shit too. Let's be real.
Orange 21%, pink earned 28%, and green earned 16% of the vote. Because nobody won more than 50%, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who picked him as their first choice have their ballots count for their second choice. This continues until a candidate receives more than half of the votes, or 50% plus 1. So what are some of the benefits of ranked choice voting? Ranked choice voting provides more choices, allowing more than two candidates to compete without fear of splitting the vote among like-minded individuals. Sometimes voters feel pressured to vote for the lesser of two evils. Ranked choice voting allows people to vote for their favorite candidate, not just against the candidates they dislike. With ranked choice voting, we see more positive campaigns and less negative advertising. Candidates are encouraged to reach out to as many voters as possible, including those supporting their opponents. They can build a winning coalition with like-minded candidates to earn voters' second and third choices. It's time to fix our democracy and make our elections work better for everybody. We can do that with ranked choice voting. Visit www.fairvote.org to.
In your opinion, is there any downside to ranked voting? Yes. Sometimes the less offensive and rather the more like centrist, the more moderate candidate can end up winning because of that. Yeah, one critique of ranked choice voting is that it favors lowest common denominator, exactly, which is policy-free centrist liberals. It's what happened in New York City with Eric Adams. That is certainly a legitimate problem or a legitimate fear that people have. It's also entirely dependent on how well you strategize, though. Because if you have like a broadly popular fucking... If the most progressive person is the most popular and maintains the plurality, then it's good for the progressive. Because a lot of centrists will have to cave and side with the progressive voter. They're not going to vote defensively against the progressive voter and then go from like a moderate centrist to a fucking right-wing psychopath, right? However, in places like liberal safe havens, for example, in liberal safe havens, the moderate voter, if they have the largest base of support, then, you know, it's going to be difficult. I mean, that's always going to be the problem with democracy. Anyone that's popular enough will win. However, at least this removes the spoiler effect and allows for multi-party systems. Yeah. It's still the most feasible path for a progressive third-party candidate to be elected. Yeah, but there are additional complications. It has to be like an open primary. This is one of the reasons it would be so good in Canada. NDP has the highest favorability rating. Can you explain why a centrist winning would be bad? Because centrists historically and still in contemporary society do not create adequate enough pushback on right-wing reactionary talking points and right-wing reactionary ideas. That's the reason. That's not great. Anyway, Wednesday's ranked choice tabulation comes months ahead of a November election in which the same process could decide the outcome. of several key races. Palin, Peltola, and Begich are all on the ballot again in the race to win the House seat for a full term. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski, who has been targeted by former President Donald Trump after she voted to convict his impeachment trial following the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, is facing off against the Trump-backed Republican Kelly Tshibaka and two other candidates in her Senate seat. And the Republican governor Mike Dunleavy will face independent former Governor Bill Walker and two other contenders in the gubernatorial election. And the beautiful part about Alaska, from what I understand, is that it's relatively cheap. If you recall, we talked about this like 2-3 years ago almost, like when this death first occurred, that Alaskan elections are a gimme in comparison to how many dollars you need to spend to potentially win a seat. It's actually a pretty solid way for the Democratic Party to maintain its majority in an otherwise very competitive, very competitive Senate. Maybe not as much so Senate right now, it doesn't seem like, but certainly a competitive House election. More states need ranked choice. Yeah. So that's where we're at. In Alaska, they have to leave the voting machines unlocked in case there's a bear nearby. What? Okay, I'm not going to look at this alternative voting systems by Prime, okay? But yeah, of course, Tom Cotton is lying about this, and the reason why Tom Cotton's lying about it is because he's a liar and because a Democrat ended up winning.
In third place?
But what's really funny is Sarah Palin, one, not realizing that she lost the election.
Voting. Yeah. When it comes down to second and third place votes, that's going to decide who's going to win. I mean, really? Alaskans want Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi voting. Yeah.
She at first couldn't comprehend that she lost, which is understandable. And then was like, wow, really? Alaskans want Joe Biden? Yeah, I mean, it turns out they want Nancy Pelosi. It's kind of weird. Seems like they nailed Palin a little bit. So yeah, there's that wonderful bit of news there. Let's play the Dr. Oz shit now, though.
Multiple times. Life starts at conception. Why do you care what age the heart starts beating at? It's it's still murder if you were to terminate a child, whether their heart's beating or not.
Now, what are your thoughts on Alabama and these anti-abortion laws that they're passing in Alabama? Well, that they've passed.
Is that healthy?
I'm really worried about it. And the other thing is this whole thing about heart beating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their electrical changes at 6 weeks, but the heart's not beating. If you were to say, starting from when we can hear the heart, like when the heart's really doing something, that would be different. That's not 6 weeks, though.
Well, which is it? I mean, how could you believe both of those in the span of 3 years?
Well, you can if you're a politician and you're running, right? I mean, it's a little unsurprising, especially Dr. Oz. He's got this sort of label as flip-flopping and not really being from Pennsylvania and running one way in a primary and another now in a general, and not all that surprising. We've seen a number of candidates, especially on the abortion issue, try to moderate in a general election. Again, that happens. President Obama, then Barack Obama, famously shifted after defeating Hillary Clinton in a primary, went more to the center on economic issues and really angered a lot of folks in sort of the left wings of his party. The problem is this is a super important issue. This election cycle, people are really paying attention on both sides to what you're saying.
Yeah, we're seeing this, just like Essie said, all across the country here. In Iowa, for example, I would say Iowa 3 is literally the most important frontline race in the country that Democrats are trying to protect, that Republicans are trying to win. And you've got the Republican candidate who sat there, or stood there, I suppose, during the primary with his hand up in the air saying that he doesn't support any exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother, anything. And yet, like a week ago, writes an op-ed for the Des Moines Register, completely changing his story. But his hand up in the air moment, that is an ad that Congresswoman Cindy Axne is running against him in Iowa 3, and it matters. I think, again, you're going to see this continue to play out across the country as we actually hold these Republicans accountable for where they actually stand.
Now to the great holiday exodus. Millions of Americans are set to travel this Labor.
Time is irrelevant by terminating the fetus. Wait, hold on. I want to see. COINTELPRO, thank you for the 10 of the subs. Gated Truth says, time is irrelevant by terminating the fetus. It has its entire life taken away just because. Yep. And that's a good thing. Let's see. Have you seen this insane take on you by Kai Jewel, which is a, 22-month subscriber? Why would you fucking do that? All right, there you go. Multiple times. This fucking idiot, multiple times posting this shit. All right, let's go. 22-month subscriber. Here you go. There you go. Have fun with that. No free clout. No free clout. There is no fucking reason. There is no fucking reason. I am not your fucking, I'm not your monkey, dude. You can't just like fucking, tug on little drama strings for your own personal pleasure and consumption. F in the chat. Bro, when you see someone saying like an absolutely psychotic thing, you do realize that like, when you see someone saying an absolutely psychotic thing about me, you realize like they're saying that so that you fucking brain dead idiots go in and like send it to me so we watch it in front of a much broader audience. Some of that audience is also hate watching, so they can also go and collaborate and become a part of that other person's community, getting them actually fucking more clout. You get it, right? I don't know what to tell you. Like, the point is, there's no winning in that situation. You just have to avoid it. That's what triggers them the most. One of China's biggest cities just locked down. I just don't know. The people that work for my biggest haters, like work hard for my biggest haters. You know, I'll just say this much. There are so many fucking weirdos, like some of the most openly fucking deranged people. Love making up shit about me. You know what I mean? And they get together and make communities and gather around and try to like pick up new people to hate on me. And when they can't find anything viable or legitimate, they just like make shit up, right? I've never actually seen a fucking, I don't know. I just never seen so many people try to like stick something to a person. You know what I mean? Like I've just never done anything that is truly offensive enough for legitimate cancellation. So they're just like going after fake bullshit and dick riding me into oblivion, right? And it's like a weird counter echo chamber, and it's getting worse lately. Yeah, I mean, it comes and goes. You know what I mean? It happens. Or they bring up things from 10 years ago. No, they make shit up. I saw some motherfuckers like just making up totally fake tweets, right? and I mean, yeah, it's just the internet. It happens, right? It happens. It's just how it is. It is how it is. It got worse after Tate. Yeah, it did. I mean, one of the greatest examples is like people just being like, he denies the. One of the greatest examples is people fucking being like, you deny the Armenian genocide, which is like something I've never. Something I've never said. You know what I mean? It's just like complete fabrication, completely made up. Said the exact opposite. But it doesn't matter because like people are super motivated to just like have anything stick. Their argument is that you're not doing enough as a leftist. No. Those are people that aren't actually leftist. Those are fucking really weird shit. Those are really weird people. Maybe I've never been this deep on the internet, but I've never seen something like this harassment anywhere else on the internet before. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. It's just the internet. It comes and goes. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Look, that's a unfortunate byproduct of being a successful figure, especially in the political space, which is, mostly occupied by incredibly mentally ill people, ourselves included in this chat. You know what I mean? So it's just, it is what it is. Literally, there's no way out of that. But for me, the best fucking thing is just like, why bring it up? You know what I mean? You're just like, you're not doing a positive thing when you bring it up. You're just derailing the stream. And then you will most likely say, oh man, I can't believe the stream got so derailed. Why do you care so much what the haters think? It's like, bro, my friend, you brought it up. You know? Those two comments are from the same people? No, they say it for other instances. Anyway. I think it's just accessibility, though, for the most part. That's it. No? Okay. So let's talk about the January 6th thing that came down. Bro, there's one community in particular just waits around the smallest shit to pop off about you to jump in on and try to make it legit. Yeah, of course. Bro, no one else has ever gotten fucking canceled for buying a shirt. Let's be real. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And that happened because of one of my editors, making a joke. It always reaches outside the intended audience and turns into a thing. But what are you going to do? Who cares? I don't know how to break the myths about you without having to argue with the most insane people forever. I mean, a lot of those people are... Here's the thing. When you argue with some of those mentally ill people on the internet, you're not actually convincing them, but at least there's like some adequate pushback that you're offering to all the other people that see it and think, oh, that's true. You know what I mean? Because plenty of people just like see shit and see like a negative association, and it just stays with them as like, oh, he did this again. You know what I mean? You're not going to ever change like a terminally online 4chan motherfucker's mind for the most part. Right? But you can potentially change someone else who doesn't really know. Because I see that shit all the time on Twitter where it's like, wait, I didn't know Hassan did that. And it's like, it's a totally made up thing. It'll literally be like, or one of the easy to dismiss, like the easiest thing to dismiss, which is like Hassan never spends funds on mutual aid or whatever. It's like, what? That's literally not true.
Labor Day weekend. And if you plan on flying, a pilot picket line might greet you at the airport.
I thought you were bad for the longest time because other streamers would sideline you. Yeah, there's definitely that kind of impact.
Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is at Kennedy Airport in New York. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. Yeah, it all starts in just a few hours at airports across the country, including right here at JFK. We're talking about pilots from Delta, United, American, JetBlue, and Spirit. We've seen them publicly calling out their companies. Now they're doing it again, telling management to fix those operational problems that are causing all of those flight delays and cancellations. Now,
I'm always fighting for you online, but also my brother who can't stand you after the Myth drama. What is the Myth drama? Myth is one of my best friends. What fucking drama? Like, that's what I mean. It's like, okay, we're done. We're done after this. But, like, you say Myth drama, you're talking about a dude who, like, I literally spent Christmas with my family and shit. You know what I mean? That's it. That's the point. Like, people just, like, make shit up. And then there's a lot of, like, parasocial chatters that just flip shit out of context or whatever and make it seem like there is, like, a legitimate drama in any meaningful capacity. Anyway, off-duty pilots picket as Americans begin Labor Day travel.
Off-duty pilots, so airlines insist that this won't affect operations, but you're going to see it at major airports, including here at JFK, Atlanta, Detroit, LA, Seattle, and Salt Lake City. It's also one of the busiest travel days for the holidays, so we're talking about today, tomorrow, and Monday as being the busiest, Michael.
And Gio, there's an important new website for travelers that was just announced this morning. What is that?
That's right, Michael. They are calling it the Airline Customer Service Dashboard. Let's go ahead and show that to you right now because this just came out. This is what it looks like. It allows you to select any of the big U.S. airlines and then compare their cancellation and refund policies so that if your flight is canceled or delayed, you know exactly what your rights are with each company. You can also use it before you even book that flight to see which company works for you. We've made it real easy for you to find. Go to goodmorningamerica.com right now. The link is there. Michael.
All right, that's easy as it gets. Gio, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thank you.
Not only that, but also we got we got Bernie Sanders showcasing solidarity across the pond. Okay. Showcasing solidarity across the pond. Let me see if I can find that. Does anyone have the clip of that? As he went to the UK, Oibruvland, to show support to the RMT strikes that are currently happening in the United Kingdom. That's right. It's fucking right, bruv. The real top G. Bernie Sanders and Mick Lynch were at an RMT rally in London earlier yesterday.
What's going on today in the UK is no different than what is going on in the United States of America. Same bloody thing.
Oh my God, he code switched. Oh my God, he said bloody. He does say fundamental. Bernie has always said fundamental, by the way. That's not even a new thing. That's an old thing. But yeah, labor action solidarity here where Bernard Sanders has landed. I repeat, Bernard Sanders has landed in the other side of the pond.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great to see you here. Are you supporting the strikes, Bernie?
We're here for a rally to support workers in the UK.
What would you say to the workers, Bernie? Bernie, hi, how are you?
Good.
Fundamental. Anyway, here's a short quip from it. Bernie Sanders backing the RMT and striking UK workers in fight against oligarchs because, listen, this is an allegiance that is international. The only war that you should recognize is class war. The only thing that you should care about is supporting your fellow workers across the board, across nation lines, because they are, again, just like you, getting fucked over in a similar capacity. We're not going to watch the full speech.
And let me thank the RMT for inviting me to be with you this evening. It is, in truth, a real honor. And I want to convey to you my belief that millions of working people throughout this country are proud of what you are doing. They're proud of your fight for justice, and we stand with you. Thank you. What is going on today? Just a couple of points tonight. That is to tell you that what is going on today in the UK is no different than what is going on in the United States of
Yep.
America. Same bloody thing. And that is what you are seeing is people on the top, people who are phenomenally rich are becoming richer. You're seeing a middle class continue to shrink, and you're seeing millions and millions of people living in abject poverty. In the year 2022, we cannot allow that to happen, whether it's the UK or the United States. Working people all over this globe have got to stand together and tell the oligarchs they cannot have it.
That's right. And let me tell you something. Bernie Sanders is showing support to the striking railway workers in the UK, and yet for some weird reason, the Labour Party, which is supposed to be, again, it's in the name, the party of labor unions.
Across the Atlantic.
For some fucking weird reason, Keir Starmer, not exactly, involved in it at all.
Bernie Sanders has crossed the Atlantic to come and show his solidarity with the RMT, the other unions that are here today. It's quite a striking contrast with Keir Starmer, who's yet to show up on the picket line. What's your view of Bernie being here today and the contrast with Keir?
Well, it's great to have Bernie Sanders here. He's reached out to us. We put this meeting on and had to upscale it a bit, if I'm honest with you, because Bernie said, I want to be with you. I want to show my solidarity. Of course, all these issues occur in different detail, but in every society in the world, probably. And Bernie's campaigning for trade union organisation, for a square deal for workers all over the states. And we're seeing that arise with the Amazon workers, even the Starbucks workers, but lots of other trade union uprisings, if you like, and he's supporting all of those. So he's got a trip to London and he wanted to reach out and support us. We're delighted that he's here. I'm looking forward to hearing from him, and I'm sure that the crowd here tonight will be delighted as well.
My question was about the difference between him and Keir Starmer. Are you expecting Keir Starmer to do the same and come and show solidarity with you on the picket line?
Well, we'll be with Keir Starmer at the TUC. I'll be at the Labour Party, even though I'm not allowed in. Keir Starmer's welcome. If he wants to shift his party position and his front bench's position to be more in line with where the trade unions are and more where workers' needs are, that will be a great development in this situation. So he's welcome. We can have a dialogue and we can discuss each other's needs.
No, I don't need the salt. I don't need it. Thank you. Dikkat et, kapak açık değil çok. I'm eating 95% or 5% fat venison, ground venison, with Bonza spaghetti. Super high in protein. It's just chickpea pasta. That's how it is. America needs to get its money up and not its fucking funny up. Look at this chart. People are now expected to live 2.1 years longer in China than in the United States. COVID deaths have contributed to the majority of the 2019-2021 decline in life expectancy for Americans. The American life expectancy has fucking dipped, folks. I'm sure people will swing this as though it's a positive. They will say, actually, it's good. Now we have a younger workforce or something. But to them, I have to say, live fast, die young, have a good-looking corpse. Except if you're American, that's probably not going to happen anyway. Yeah. That's right, baby. That's where we're at. Now, speaking of America, here are a couple quick things that I'm going to post quick things that I'm going to look at before we play some fucking Valorant. Okay, first and foremost, here's Jay-Z popping the fuck off about Eat the Rich. Because I got to eat real quick.
Yeah, we're not going to stop. You know, the hip hop is young. We still growing.
And then we're going to play Valorant. I'm going to be playing Valorant with multiple queens, okay? Pokimane, Valkyrie, Disguised Toast, Abe, who's not really a queen, but yeah, you know, multiple. No, we'll do reacts afterwards. Okay. Guys, there's no react today. No, we'll do reacts afterwards. Can I just like fucking, you know, play a little bit of video gaming? Can I do a little bit of video gaming on this broadcast? Anyway. Also at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break, which of course is something that comes and goes. But if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Yeah, Ninja's gone, so I gotta. What about reacts, dude? Dude, I'm gonna react to fucking your mom. No, don't time him out for a week. Give him a week at least. Just like you guys are so fucking. Just sit down and enjoy it, okay? Just sit down, relax, enjoy the show. Don't be fucking annoying, okay? Please, for the love of Christ, let me do some shit that I want to do. Okay, right now. Oh fuck, what's happening?